To us, magic sounds like this extraordinary thing, pulling a rabbit out of the hat, coming out of nowhere. But it's here, it's real, and the more that we are open to the unseen, to the energies of this world, to abundance and manifesting, to calling in and growing, the more we'll be able to call magic into our lives. Join me as I share stories, wisdom, and curiosity around connecting with your higher frequency, tapping into the synchronicities of the universe, and opening up to the unseen possibilities that this world has to offer. I am your host, Dayna Faye, and this is the Ordinary Magic Podcast. Hello, everyone. If you are listening to this episode as it comes out today, October 2nd, 2024, happy new moon in Libra, and this is actually a solar eclipse. So we've been in eclipse season for 2 weeks now. We are talking astrology. How has it been going for you guys? You do not need to know anything about what that eclipse season really means, except that it is an extra strong portal of something being eclipsed in or out of your life. So people, places, things usually get a little shooken up. It's, if you can look at it this way, a gift from the universe to get you on your path just a little bit faster. Or if you've been veering off course a little bit on where you're meant to go in your life, eclipse season can oftentimes bring you back on that course. So it kicked off actually with the full moon, a very powerful partial lunar eclipse in Pisces on September 17th. So if you can think back to that, we're talking 2024 here if you're listening to this episode later. If you think back to that, did anything happen around that time that kind of changed your world a little bit? Did you meet a new friend? Did you quit your job? Did you get a new position? Did you maybe stop talking to a friend or get frustrated with somebody? Anything that has to do with kind of shaking things up. Also with eclipses, from year to year, it can be more powerful for your life or not so much, just depending on how your astrology chart is set up. So I'm going to tell a little story from my end to give you an idea. I thought I was taking off this fall with eclipse season. I've had some very powerful eclipses the last 2 falls because Taurus was involved, and I have a lot of Taurus energy in my chart. But this season, the full moon lunar eclipse on September 17th was in Pisces, and that was in my 8th house. And I thought, I know I have 1 planet in there, but I don't think it'll be very strong. Well, 2 days before the lunar eclipse, it was the weekend and it was a Sunday, and my best friend Jamie gave me a call and said, hey, I actually have like a couple hours free. Do you want to get together? Now, this is rare for us because we live pretty far apart from each other and have opposite schedules. So I was like, yes, let's do it. And also, I'm a real estate agent, and I've been starting to look at homes for myself. And I had my eye on a condo that had just hit the market in her city, and I wasn't going to look at it. I had no plans to go look at it. But when she called to hang out, I said, hey, would you want to come with me to go look at this condo? Since I'll be in that area, I would like to see it. And she said, yes, let's go. And so we went to this condo and we toured it. We toured both sides, actually. It was a duplex that the seller turned into 2 separate condos to then sell. And we were in the second side after the first side, which was clearly a little bit better. And I was like, oh my gosh, I really like this place. She really liked the place. I was surprised by how much I liked it because I wasn't even going to go see it. From the photos, I was kind of like, eh. And I went and looked at 2 other places that same weekend for myself. And next thing you know, I'm touring this condo and I really like it. And we're sitting on the front step and it starts to click for me. Why have I never thought of this city as an option for a place to move? For those of you that don't know my story, I've been living in an apartment since last year with my daughter half the time, and my lease is up at the end of November, and I thought I would probably buy this spring or next fall. But of course, as a real estate agent, I'm keeping my options open, right? So went to go look at this place, really loved it. It clicked. Why would I not move to the city where my best friend lives, where there's a great school district, and where my only other friend that I actually see in person lives in walking distance from this place? Also, not to mention my favorite grocery store and it being walking distance into the cute little downtown area. And when I was putting my feelers out to the universe, and I'm telling this story to you guys as an example of how the energy works and how sometimes giving it up to the universe really helps in allowing the universe to lead the way. So, when I was dreaming up what it is I wanted to manifest in a home for my daughter and I wasn't thinking of specifics. I was thinking how I wanted to feel. I wanted to feel really good in our backyard. I wanted it to feel like it was pretty private and that nature was surrounding us. I also wanted to make sure I was in walking distance of other nature, like conservancies, things like that. I also wanted the home, knowing that my budget was probably only going to get me a condo, to feel very spacious and to feel like an actual home. I also needed it to be very budget friendly, which is really hard to find, you guys, in this current real estate market. So everything was clicking into place. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to go home and think about this. And maybe I should put an offer in. This was Sunday. The lunar eclipse kicked off on Tuesday, but you feel this energy coming on either side of it. And I went home, thought about it, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to offer. And I called the agent, and the agent let me know, well, actually, just let you know, we've been countering with people for a few days. We have a counter out back to them right now. All they have to do is sign, and the place is theirs. And I knew I only wanted that one side. I did not want to offer on the other side that was available. And I was just like, oh, I got off the phone, thought, okay, well, maybe the universe was just pointing out to me that I should consider this city as an option moving forward. About 15 minutes later, I realized, no, I'm going to fight for this. Let's do this. But it was feeling very rushed and I had not eaten all day. I ended up having a very busy day. I had a meeting that morning, met with Jamie, then came home. I sat down to write the offer and it felt very forced. And in human design, I'm an emotional authority, which means that I am supposed to make especially big decisions according to following my emotional wave. We're all conditioned to make decisions on the spot, but as an emotional authority, which is 50% of this population, I am supposed to feel this big decision throughout the next week, if not month, of how I feel when I'm in a high, how I feel when I'm in a low, and when I come to a neutral, unattached place, I will have my answer of like, yes, this still feels good. So it was quite frustrating as a manifesting generator that I couldn't actually practice human design, especially because I teach people to practice it. But I know the real estate market just doesn't allow you to do that. So I sat down to write the offer, had a terrible feeling in my gut, and just thought, no, this is not how I need to do this. I am done forcing things in my life. It doesn't need to be forced. Universe, if this is meant to be, it will happen. So I called up the agent. I said, I'm not offering. I just don't feel well. And the agent's like, wow, this is so interesting. You're like the sixth person to do this weekend where like everyone calls me and says, yep, we're in the middle of writing an offer. And then they call again and are like, never mind, my client's not submitting. And I like laughed and said something about the full moon coming up, even though this agent, wasn't that into astrology. And the agent was like, okay, maybe it's that. And they were like, yeah, I totally understand. Don't want it to be forced. We have a counter out anyway, like totally get it. Okay. Thought it was all done. So I went to the grocery store, got something to eat, went for a walk along the lake in a favorite park of mine with my bare feet. It was a gorgeous evening. And I just talked to my higher self and my guides, and I was looking for clarity. And my grandma came in, my grandma who just passed away this past summer. And she didn't bring me a lot of messages, but I felt her frequency of just unconditional love. The message I did receive from her was, you can do hard things. And I felt a lot of emotions come up. And I admitted to myself in that moment, I'm tired. I'm tired. I moved out of my home last November. I've went through a divorce this past year. I've gotten used to parenting only half time. I'm an entrepreneur and for a while kind of had this survival mode on. And that's why I didn't think I was going to buy a house this fall. I want to relax. Not to mention I'm in my personal winter according to my astrology chart. And so I'm not meant to be taking on a lot of new projects right now. And when I admitted that to myself, a lot of emotions came up and I was able to move them into the earth through my bare feet. I was able to connect them and feel the support from my grandma. And she said, this is not going to be easy, but also I'm here. And it just felt really good. So I went home with a calmer heart and no icky feeling in my gut and thought, you know what? I do really want this place. I'm going to sit down and calmly write this offer. And I just did a little prayer to the universe. Hey, I'm going to slowly write this offer. I'm not going to rush myself or have some mentality that like I need to beat these other people. If this place is meant to be mine, they will not sign their counter. And I did. I slowly filled out the offer. I remember being halfway through it and ending up starting to dream about, oh my gosh, what if I really did get this place? And so I messaged the agent saying, hey, just let you know, I am offering again in the middle of writing it. And they're like, okay, cool. Sounds good. We haven't received anything back from them yet. And I submitted it, I think at like 8:30 that night. And the next day, I had to wait all day to hear back. And my heart goes out to all my real estate clients, my buyers who have to go through this nervous waiting game of, is this place going to be mine? Don't let myself dream about getting it. Should it even be mine? Do I want an accepted offer? All these things. And when I wasn't hearing back from them, I thought, oh crap, they must have got another offer or that counter came back. But finally, by that evening, they did accept my offer. And they did say, yeah, we had a lot of verbal offers that morning from people who said they were writing, and then they didn't. Again, the energy of that full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces was strong. And yeah, next thing I know, the night before the eclipse was at its strongest, I got an accepted offer on a house. And I was like, okay, here we go, eclipse season. So I'm sharing that story to give an example of what can come up during an eclipse season: quitting your job, moving homes, an unexpected person from your past coming back into your life, or an unexpected relationship maybe ending. And as of today, it's now the new moon in Libra, and it's just basically like a new moon on steroids. So it's a great day today and into the next week or two to set your intention, whatever's been floating around in your aura, in your life, any desires you've been having, anything that's been kind of like knocking on your door of like a consistent thought or something that you want to work on. Now is a great time to plant those seeds. So it could be anything in your work, anything that you're wanting to foster in your relationships, anything that you're wanting to do around your house to improve upon your life. Set that intention because the energy is strong for you. And I am interested to see, and I will update you guys on how things pan out because I'm recording this 3 days before the new moon, which is going to be another potent energy time. I just had my inspection on this house, and it used to be a rental. They didn't even have a real estate condition report disclosing any defects. Well, the inspection came back with a lot of defects and issues. And I believe that it's going to be no problem. The seller and I will be able to negotiate. But I am also curious about this eclipse energy. Like, okay, is something unexpected going to happen again this week? So I will definitely update you guys on my next solo episode if my house and my journey to moving literally out of this city to a new one is still going to be on its way. Now I want to shift gears and talk about something that came up in one of my human design readings a couple weeks ago. I was giving a reading to a beautiful projector, and I was talking about the centers, and I was talking about the sacral center and how as a projector, you have your sacral center undefined. It's white, which means you have inconsistent access to the energy that the sacral center produces. Now, when I talked about that, I was talking about life force energy a lot. And this projector stopped me and asked, but what is life force energy? And it made me realize that that is kind of the first place to start when talking about human design or when doing a channeling session for someone or just simply talking about getting connected to your energetic body. My own definition of life force energy is your energy body, really. It's this energy that you feel buzzing inside you, outside you. It's energy that you produce from within yourself. And it's also the energy that we pick up from the world around us. There are other names for life force energy from other wisdom traditions. For example, in the yoga tradition, prana, when you're doing yoga and you're breathing and you're moving your body and you're connecting to this energy that's kind of flowing in you, and you make it more vital by doing the yoga practice, by meditating, by breathing, by moving your body. That is prana, or life force energy. Another one is chi. In Chinese traditions and in Tai Chi, you have this chi. And oftentimes they talk about it within this channel that kind of goes through your chakra system. So like the base of your spine, all the way up out through your crown center. And I really feel that as I prepare for my soul alignment sessions, which are fully channeled sessions, is what I do ahead of time is I sit in meditation and I open all my energy centers. I open my chakras. I really allow the energy, so life force energy coming off of the earth. I ground down into the earth. I connect to it. I bring that life force energy up through my feet, through my base chakra, and all the way up to my heart center. And then I connect to the energy of the grand central sun, of Archangel Metatron, or whatever you call it, this source consciousness. I allow my consciousness to go all the way up through my crown chakra, connect up to that energy, and bring it back down as well. Now, you don't have to go that in depth. I'm just kind of bringing you behind the scenes. The first step to feeling your life force energy is bringing awareness to your body. And you've already felt your life force energy. You just don't realize it. So that's what's cool about it. We all have it. You can't not have life force. But according to human design and the way your chart is set up, you produce it in different ways. And you also take on other people's life force energy in different ways. So let's talk about generators and manifesting generators first in regards to their life force energy. They are the two types that have their sacral motor defined. This energy center or hub is located below your belly button, but above your root chakra or your base, right? So it's your sacral center, the center for creativity. But what it is through the lens of human design is the center for generating life force energy. And that's why this planet is made up of around 70% total of generators and MGs, because they are the energy type that, as long as they are doing what they are meant to be doing, what they feel pulled towards, what lights them up, they actually produce this life force energy. That life force energy then for you guys is what makes your aura magnetic. So in human design, they say generators and MGs, your aura is very magnetic because you're meant to use your sacral hub to respond to things that are coming to you. You've been conditioned to initiate and go out and make things happen because you're highly capable of doing. But you are actually meant to feel into your sacral motor, this gut instinct. When you come across things, you are always responding, whether you're conscious of it or not. And oftentimes we've been conditioned out of this, but I just witnessed my daughter go through this because she's so young, is that you make your yes or no's with noises coming from your sacral motor, coming from your gut. And it's so interesting. I just was reading in the human design book as I was reviewing before this talk today about how much we're really supposed to be making those noises, and that kids get conditioned out of it right away. And my daughter is only 3 years old. And I realized just recently she stopped making those noises. She used to only answer us with, And now that her vocabulary has come online so much more, she uses her words. But for the longest time, I knew her was like a yes and her was like a no. It was really cool. That's a little bit of a tangent. But anyway, generators and MGs, you literally have this center that has consistent access to the big L life force energy. Now, the other energy types, projectors, manifestors, and reflectors, anywhere in your chart that is colored in is considered life force energy. So anywhere in your chart. So if you have your throat defined, or your root, or your spleen, or your head center, or your ajna, your third eye, that produces life force energy and you have consistent access to it. It's just not that huge sacral motor energy that allows us to do. And that's why for you guys, You're not meant to do. Projectors, remember, your value is in how well you saw that day. Manifestors, your value is in, are you following your surges when you get them? And are you initiating and are you informing us about what it is that you want to create or bring into form or do? And reflectors, are you following, being aware of what is consistent for you? Are you being patient? Are you making sure the environments you're in is somewhere you love to be? And are you being patient when it comes to making decisions about your own life and what it is you want to pursue? Because every day you're bringing in that information into your very undefined graph, and whatever's consistent for you is what you're meant to follow. So I wanted to reiterate that because I did feel in that moment, and I never want human design to feel this way. But the projector was kind of like, wait, so, I don't have life force energy. And that's not true. Human design just shows us, what do we have consistent access to that our body generates every day? Like, we wake up every day. For example, I have a very defined chart. So I wake up every day with head pressure and root pressure. But where in our chart is it white? And that's where you go about the world, having inconsistent access to that energy. So for example, manifestors, projectors, reflectors, when you are around, which you are every day if you're around people, a generator or an MG, you are picking up their life force energy and actually amplifying it. So actually, sometimes you look like you're the life of the party, especially if you're around a generator who's like freaking lit up about what it is they're doing. You will feel that and magnify it. And it feels so good. What you need to be careful of is knowing when to stop and rest. I was thinking about this like from my past and my projector friends in my life. And I was like, oh yeah, like in college, my one projector friend was the life of the party. She could go. And she also did get tired when she was alone, right? So it's just being wise about like, oh, I love picking up this generator's life force energy because they are so in alignment right now. And I'm going to use it to get some work done this afternoon. But then I'm also going to go home and let it like get out of my system, knowing that that is not mine, actually. I'm just picking it up and using it. And again, it's like a domino effect. If you're around a generator who's really frustrated and their life force energy is completely depleted and they're saying they're tired all the time and they're just like not enthused with life, you're going to feel that too and amplify it. And you're going to feel like, I don't want to be around this person. So life force energy, it is this buzzing energy that we feel all around us. And I would say a great place to start is just to see if you feel it. That sounds funny, but I mean, it's great to do a practice alone. So meditation or yoga. I mean, for example, I did a wonderful 30-minute yoga practice this morning that had the perfect blend of stretching and strength. It was just like, mwah. And I got done and I definitely felt this like prana, like I opened up my joints and my centers because I was very focused on my breath the whole time. That's important, right? You don't just disappear into your mind world when you're doing yoga. You actually feel into your body, feel your feet on the ground, inhale when they say inhale, exhale when they say exhale. The breath is everything. That was life force that I was feeling, that I feel like I really drummed up myself in my yoga. Now, if you're doing yoga and you're super frustrated as an MG or generator, or if you're feeling bitter as a projector thinking, I wish I wouldn't have followed this YouTuber, I could have just done this myself, then you know you're out of alignment. That's your guidepost and you do it in a different way or you don't do it at all. So that's one way to tap into your own life force, to drum it up for yourself. So for those of you that don't have a sacral motor, projectors, manifestors, reflectors, you still have something, even reflectors. You have little hanging gates in your graph that have a little bit of energy. And please book a reading with me so we can go over those gates, because that's what's consistent for you and is going to give you a clue into how you're unique as a reflector. Another way that I think might be even an easier in if you've never really tuned into your energy body before is to actually feel life force energy when you're around other people. Sometimes feeling your own, it's because like you're with yourself every day. It's like when somebody slowly puts on weight, but they see themselves in the mirror every day. And then they finally see a photo from like a year ago and they're like, oh my gosh, I gained 15 pounds. And they had no idea, right? That's kind of that same thing. When you're out and about with other people though, it's more obvious when you're feeling their energy and not yours. So I think that's even a better way, is to now play around when you're in a coffee shop or when you're in conversation with someone or you're going to a new meeting. Whenever you're moving atmospheres, what do you feel? Just take note of it. So let's say on a Monday, you're going to work, you feel one way in your office. Then you go to a coffee shop and you feel another way there. Then you go to a meeting and it has a different buzz to it. That is our field. That is life force energy. Everybody's giving it off. Some people's life force feels great, some don't. And this is how you can start to tune into your own energy body and connect with the life force energy that's buzzing all around you. Because ultimately, from my experience, especially in my mid 20s, I'm now closer to mid 30s, I was in the fitness industry, and being healthy to me was really like physique, right? It was how I looked in the mirror. I was putting on muscle and counting my macros and all that stuff and like seeing how I could shape my body. And it was really cool. That didn't necessarily mean I felt super healthy, right? Fast forward, now when I do a workout, it's not based off of how can I put on this muscle. One, because I don't feel like eating that much protein and stuff again to put on that much muscle for just my physique. That's really hard to do that with, right? But for two, my main goal now in health and wellness is, am I connected to my life force energy? Do I feel it buzzing around me? Is it of a higher vibration or is it pretty low? And let me tell you guys, as I'm recording this today, I've had a pretty emotional wave weekend. Tends to happen when I don't have my daughter. I try to keep myself busy, but I've been a little overworked with a lot of amazing things that have come onto my plate with real estate. And then, of course, my house. So it was just a lot of energy. And my life forces, I would say, it had not been as good. Luckily, this morning I had a soul alignment session with someone, so I had no choice but to do a long practice last night of breath work and meditation, and another long practice this morning of yoga and breath work before tapping in for this person. And so I was like, okay, universe, thanks for forcing me to get back on, because I think I would have just like eaten ice cream and zoned out the rest of the weekend. So I'm saying this because it feels weird on this podcast that I'm like teaching this week after week, but that's what I'm here for, right? And I'm saying it as in like, I struggle with this probably more than you do. One, because I'm bringing so much awareness to it because I really care about it. But two, because I have an emotional wave in human design. I also have gate of spirit in my top 4 gifts. And so when I'm not feeling the spirit of life, and I feel like you could think of it more on a Western level of like my dopamine levels can be out of whack. When I'm not feeling the spirit of life, I feel like, what's the point to everything, right? Because I have gate 55, and that is the gate of spirit. It's in my top 4 gifts. Plus it's what makes up my emotional wave, gate 39 to gate 55. So the gate of provocation, 39, is all about provoking the spirit of life out of people and things. And then it's connected to 55, which that emotional wave tends to bring you really, really high. Like I feel like I have a gift of feeling high highs without drugs, but also it brings a lot of melancholy, a lot. And I tend to, when I dip into that melancholy, I haven't quite mastered how to just use that as a creative thing and like create and use it as an outlet. I tend to want to like run away from it. And in doing that, probably make it worse. So I'm saying that as in, this is what I'm teaching, but I am on this journey with you guys of really feeling into my life force energy. And why do you want to feel into it so much? The more that you align yourself with your life force and open up to this unseen energy and allow life to happen almost to you, through you, instead of making things happen, like the universe has so much in store for you. And I'll give you one more story. About a month or two ago, I had said in my mama's networking group, hey guys, I only need 3 more real estate sales and I'll be good to go financially, for the rest of the year, I feel, so that I can free up space to creatively work on my, this business, Ordinary Magic, my soul alignment sessions, my human design. I was very excited about it. Well, Eclipse season 2 weeks ago, I bought a house. guess what? I'm closing on 3 sales in October. So I gave it up to you. I worked hard also, right? Got my 3 sales. But as soon as I got that offer accepted on my house, and now I'm crunching way different numbers than I expected for this fall, I started to have more of a clench on my energy, a more lack mentality, a more like, oh my gosh, I need 3 more sales. I want to do these updates even when I move in. Now I need to pay for a moving company. Like none of these things were figured in. And for the past week, I've been in a very like mind place of like putting it all together, like Tetris, budgeting, looking at the numbers of my loan, what are my monthly payments going to be, all those things, locking in my interest rate. It's been very heady. I forgot to open up to the universe again and trust that it will provide. And it's hard to trust when you're not in a flow of trusting. So I feel for you. If you feel like you haven't caught a break ever in your life and you're drowning in debt and like, how's this even possible? I feel for you. It's going from 0 to 1 is the hardest. But once you see the universe at play and you keep actually tuning into your life force energy and make that priority number 1. So what's directly correlated to having healthy life force energy is to be in a higher vibration. In that higher vibrational state, the universe will bring you opportunities, right? Being open with your energy will bring you opportunities. So I've just had to have that talk with myself this weekend as I've been in kind of quite an emotional dip on my human design wave of I'm not trusting right now. And that's why I'm quite moody, right? I'm not trusting that, yes, this was not in my plans to buy a house. Now my budget looks a little bit different. But I literally just did an open house yesterday and got a bunch of amazing leads. If I just trust the process, take the correct action, like following up with the leads, take the correct action, like recording this podcast, staying consistent with you guys, sharing with my audience, things will fall into place. But because I don't see the next closing, the next person to book a human design reading, the next person to book a soul alignment session, there's a little bit of a lack mentality, and therefore my life force energy is not as high of a vibration as it once was. So my challenge for you over these next 2 weeks until we meet again is, can you feel your life force energy? Pick one practice that you know creates that buzz from within you, that prana, whether it's breath work, meditation, yoga, going for a walk in nature, or connecting to other people's auras, which is quite fun to play around with. Or even I love practicing, when you're out in a crowd and you feel like you're taking on everyone's energy. And I do this like golden bubble around me of energy. And then I do like an ultraviolet one around that. And immediately I feel everyone's energy back off. And it's so much fun. I sound like such a nerd right now, but it's really fun. So try that out and let me know, you guys. I'm year 2 on this podcast, and the most frustrating thing of it so far is like, I see the numbers of who's listening, but message me, okay, on Instagram. If you've listened to this, you don't even need to tell me anything. Like, just send me a, hey, I listened, because I need more of that intimacy. I have gate of intimacy in my human design chart. I want more interaction. It's great that we have technology and I can sit in front of this camera and talk to you, and I tune into your energy, and I hope it's delivering what you need to hear. But I also want to hear from you. I really do. So send me a message on how this episode lands. Send me a message on how your eclipse season is going. If you've had a lot of change in this last year, my heart goes out to you. I'm here for you. We're all in this together. And let me know if you feel connected to your life force energy, or if you have any questions on that, because I'm here to help and guide you with that. All right. Thank you so much for listening today. Ordinary Magic is a Lit Path Studios production, produced by Jamie Gale and Dayna Faye. Music is by Shane Ivers. Until next time, I wish you many powerful moments of ordinary magic.